everybody, welcome back to another video. Yes, we're doing it a little different today. We're doing a sit down video. Let's have a chat. Let's talk about some things. You guys know that I've been doing a lot of, real estate vlogs or realtor day in the life vlogs, but I actually wanted to start doing a series that is diving in more into the real estate world, more real estate focused. So I'm dedicating a whole playlist, and sometimes you're going to see my mom on here. She's starting her YouTube channel, so we're going to do this playlist together to bring you more of the real estate side of things. And hopefully, if you guys like what we do, you guys can recommend us or reach out yourself. So it's more of like an open conversation where you can ask questions, discuss the housing market with us, discuss buying a home, selling a home, talk about renting versus buying new builds, buying resales, whatever real estate, lending, how title goes, all of that we're gonna cover. It's just gonna be so much fun. I kind of did this like when I first moved to Arizona. I had like a little moving to Arizona series. So now I can talk to you more about moving to Arizona or living in Arizona in more of a real estate way. We're gonna have this dedicated playlist so you can always come back to it. And just keep in mind that a lot of the things that we're gonna be talking about, I'm gonna be talking about, it's going to be specifically related to Arizona. I am a licensed real estate agent in Arizona. So outside of the national things that are going on, I'm sure you guys heard about the lawsuit with NAR and the settlement and all that stuff. National Association of Realtors is NAR. We're not going to really be diving into any other states and how it works. So again, this is more of an open conversation. If you're interested in moving to Arizona, or you already live in Arizona and you're thinking about buying or selling in Arizona, because that's all I know. That is state-wise, that's what I know. So without further ado, today's video is just going to be really about the process, the home buying process. I have given you guys my version of the home buying process pre-real estate, pre-realtor days, more from a home buyer's perspective, and I'll link that video up here for you guys. But now I just kind of want to reiterate it, go back through it, and talk to you about all the things that I've learned from the real estate side and what you really should be, doing and looking for when you are buying a home. So today's video is more for buyers. And these are things that I just learned and that I want to share because I feel like it's so important for you to have the tools and the information before jumping into this process. I didn't really feel like I had a lot of information or tools before jumping in, and I waited too long to get that stuff and to get a realtor to help me to do that. We hired our realtor as soon as we knew we were ready. I mean, that's okay, but there's so much more into going through it. And I'm glad that I had my mom, because she used to be a realtor in Kentucky, so she really had already a lot of knowledge about home buying and what it looks like on the real estate side of things and the buyer side of things. So she was able to guide me, but a lot of people don't have that, and a lot of people don't know legit where to start. So that's why I wanted to do this video for you guys, because everybody needs to know it, whether you're gonna buy from me, sell from me, or whether you're in the state. This is really a general overview, but we will get down to more of a local level. So the first steps to buying a home is, number one is saving. I have always told you guys, know your numbers, know what to do. This is important. You need to save. A lot of people have the misunderstanding of just saving for a down payment. That is not the only out-of-pocket cost up front that you pay for. You have to account for not just your down payment. I was gonna say DP. Not just your down payment, but you have to account for your appraisal, your inspection, your earnest deposit, and closing costs. So all of those combined are things that you're going to pay up front. Earnest money, appraisal, and escrow are all going to be paid at some point throughout the process. Down payment and closing costs will be paid at the closing table. So realistically, you need your whole down payment and closing costs on your closing day. But you do need money to put down for earnest money or good faith deposit. We call it EMD here, earnest money deposit. You need that up front. Generally, it's 1% of the purchase price. However, it does go towards your down payment at the end of the process, escrow process. And then some lenders will let you pay your appraisal at the closing table with your closing costs, but some require an upfront payment. So you just need to, you know, be prepared for that. And then as well as the inspection. Now that does come out of your pocket because it is the buyer's due diligence. I don't care where you are, what state you are in, you will do an inspection. You need to do an inspection. You should. It's not an option. I mean, it is optional, but we as realtors don't recommend you skipping out on the inspection. It is highly, highly recommended you get an inspection because you need to know when you're buying a home, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, what kind of home you're getting into, what are the issues, you know, what problems will I have in the future, the near future, or what needs to be done now before I move into this house. So that is the first step, saving. The second, before really reaching out to a realtor, you need to know the location. Here in Arizona, and I'm going to specifically talk about the Phoenix metro area where I do stay more in the East Valley, but realistically you need to narrow down your location. Now if you are a first-time home buyer, I think you need to have a realistic approach to where you want to live when it comes to area. And I'm pretty sure this is like this in a lot of states, but the more suburban areas are going to cost you a lot of money, especially if they are more desirable areas. They're just gonna cost you more because you're paying for the area. That's not to say that the affordable areas are not desirable or not nice or whatever, but you do need to have a realistic approach. For example, I'll use my own self. My husband works in Mesa. My parents at the time had just bought a house in Maricopa, which is about a 45-55 minute drive, depending on how deep east he had to go. So for him, I think it was about 55 minutes. And when we bought our house at the time, I was working from home because COVID had hit. So for me, wherever we were just didn't really matter at the time. However, I still wanted to be, if I had to go back into the office, I still wanted to be no more than 30 minutes. So I kind of understood like where he was coming from. So we were initially looking at Mesa or Gilbert and quickly realized that what we were pre-qualified for or what we wanted to pay or what we thought we should pay was just well beyond our budget because those areas are just nicer and more expensive. Even my parents had a hard time when they were looking for a big enough house for everybody. They were having a hard time finding a realistic, big enough home for all the family, but at a realistic price that they wanted to pay monthly. Ultimately, that's what led them down here to Maricopa. And then, of course, that's ultimately why we chose Maricopa. And we were first-time home buyers, so it just made sense to get a bigger home for a lower price. I wanted to do some comparison for you so you could see Maricopa versus Gilbert. So the median price right now, median list price right now, this is as of today, Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. The average or median list price for a home in Maricopa, Arizona is $389,000. So for Gilbert, Arizona, the average or median list price as of May 1st, 2024 is $720,000. This is an average or median list price, so you can see the difference. Now, of course, it's going to vary because you have to find like for like, but based on the market, for a 1,691 square foot home with 3 beds and 2 baths in Gilbert is going for $519,250. If I go back to Maricopa, a similar home, just about 100 or a little over 100 square foot smaller, 1,525 square foot, 3 bed, 2 bath, $322,490. So that's just the comparison. So that's why I say that location is important to consider. I saw someone post, and she posted anonymously in this mom group in Arizona. She currently lives in Maricopa, wants to live in Chandler, which I 100% totally understand. Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert area, I think she said, maybe Tempe. Her budget was $420 for 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I just gave you the comparison. I mean, to be honest, it's almost unrealistic. And then I asked her, because she said she already has realtor, I said, are you on like set up on the MLS? Yeah, but it's not pulling anything. So I just want to see if somebody had a listing coming up. Even if they did, they wouldn't sell it at that. They're gonna get multiple offers. Even if you list it below market value in these cities, you're going to get multiple offers, meaning you're still going to get the price that it's worth. So location is something you need to discuss with yourself, and what sacrifice are you willing to make. Granted, I understand that if like that person was living in Maricopa and selling a home and putting money down to maybe get to that comfortable price range, but it didn't sound like it. I don't know, maybe could have been renting. At the end of the day, you need to sacrifice something, and sacrifice the drive. So location is number 2. Maricopa's not that bad, literally 30 minutes from Chandler, literally like, yeah, right there. Yes, traffic sucks. I'm not even like lie about it, but we're willing to sacrifice that because you're not gonna move into a city and then not experience traffic. So might as well move into a home that fits your needs for the time being, and then in 3 to 5 years sell it or refinance it or rent it out and buy your dream home. Before I move on to the third thing, I will say this: affordable locations does not mean less desirable. Maricopa is up and coming. There's also Casa Grande, which is a decent area. It has restaurants. It also has the 10, something Maricopa doesn't have. So there are more affordable areas. They are more on the outskirts of the city, so they do require a little bit more of a drive, but honestly, they're not that bad. And I think that if you do your own research, which is something you should be doing anyways, whether you're living in Scottsdale or Paradise Valley, you should be doing your research regardless of, you know, how the neighborhoods are, if it's somewhere you can see yourself living for a few years. But I will list off a few affordable cities. And by affordable, I mean like what I just compared to you in price point, especially, and I'm really talking to first-time home buyers, because if you're buying a second home, then honestly this doesn't really matter to you, and you might want to stay in an affordable city because you do want to keep a comfortable mortgage payment. So 100% agree and get, because I want to live in a different city, but I also don't want to have a sky-high mortgage payment. So I definitely understand. However, if you are a first-time home buyer, these are things that are more important when considering buying a home. So for example, Maricopa is one, Casa Grande or Casa Grande. I feel like it should be Casa Grande. Then if you want to venture a little further, you have Florence, Santan Valley, and these are just all East Valley areas. And then there's Arizona City, which is just south of Casa Grande or Casa Grande. It's actually connected to it, so to me it's not that much of a difference. It's just you have to come back up to Casa Grande to get a little bit more like the shopping and stuff. So those are just a few of the more affordable cities, and by affordable I mean like under a base home, a first-time home under 400,000 even, but really under 450 to like I said, if dare I say under 400,000. Again, this information I'm giving you is as of May 1st 2024. So moving on, once you have established location and you've saved, the biggest step would be to find both a realtor and a lender. Now, depending on who you find first or who you go with first, they might have a referral partner, which means I have a preferred lender, so I would send you to him, and then vice versa. They might, if you find the lender first, they might send you to the realtor. That's just usually how it goes. Sometimes people do go with their bank. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I'm not saying don't do it. You should shop around, just like you would shop around realtors. You should shop around lenders, but I wouldn't recommend using a big bank. One, because they only work Monday through Friday, meaning if you have a question or you want to make an offer on a Saturday and you don't have a pre-qual, or I don't have a pre-qual, or don't have an updated pre-qual to make the offer on the house, then you have to wait till Monday, unless that loan officer gives you his or her personal phone number where you can text them, and they are willing to work online, but I mean on weekends, but usually they don't. That's why when you're a realtor, if you find a realtor first and they give you a list of preferred lenders, that's part of the reason they're recommending those lenders. They're not just saying, oh, I get anything out of it, because we really don't. We don't get anything out of having a preferred lender outside of them maybe recommending us. And by saying, oh yeah, Bria, she works down in Maricopa, because not a lot of agents like to, if you don't already live here or work here, not a lot of agents like driving here or Casa Grande. So they're like, oh yeah, Bria works in Maricopa, let me connect you with her. That's literally all I get out of it, is the client. and vice versa. They get the client out of me if I'm like, hey. But it's more for your benefit because you need a team that is on the clock, dare I say 24/7, but on the clock where if you have questions on off hours or you need something off hours, we are here. And that's why realtors put together a team of trusted vendors and, you know, partners to work with you. So once you know, like I said, just decide on your savings, decide on your location, then you decide on who to work with. Like I said, it can go either way. You might find the realtor first, you might find the lender first, you might find them at the same time. So that's where that goes. And it's really important that once you choose your team, you know, they are on it. They communicate, make you feel like you matter. So once you do get that together, your lender will then help you get pre-qualified. Pre-qualification means this is what, as of right now, your credit score and your income says how much house you can afford. You could get pre-qualified for $500,000. That does not mean you have to buy a $500,000 house. If you get pre-qualified for $300,000, then that means we need to look at $300,000 or below. But once you have that, that's your purchasing power, because once you have that, you can make an offer, and it also helps you decide on a budget. Now, the purchase price is different from the monthly price. What do I want to pay monthly? That is a conversation you need to have with your lender. So once you get this pre-qual and they're like, okay, you're qualified for $450,000. Okay, what I did when we were in this process, I asked my lender, I said, give me a breakdown if I buy a house at the time, it was $215,000, $220,000, $225,000, $230,000, $240,000, and $245,000. She gave me estimated monthly payments. And that's how we decided where we wanted to be. Now, I know that a lot of them weren't really that far, because $5,000 on a purchase price is not gonna make, if any, difference on your monthly payment. So I just really needed to see the difference between $215,000 and $245,000, because we were looking at new builds, and at the time the new build we wanted was $245,000, but the payment that we wanted was no more than $225,000. And so that's why I tell people, what is your monthly payment? Not what is your budget for how much house you want to buy, or, you know, the purchase price, but what is your monthly payment? What do you want to pay? And then once you figure that out, you and the lender will then go from there and say, hey, look, this is where we have, like, this is the hard stop. This is the top of the budget. So after that, you start house shopping. Review a little bit. You're going to save for down payment, closing costs, appraisal, inspection, earnest money. You're going to save. Then you're going to pick your location. You're going to pick your realtor and your lender team. Then you're going to get your, well, when you pick your realtor and lender team, you're going to get pre-qualified, and then you're going to go house shopping. From there, you enter into escrow. Once you make an offer, house shopping, offer, go into escrow, and then you do the lending process, and then you close. Once you go into escrow, the ball gets to rolling, then it's game time. And I think that I can quickly go through escrow, because you really, the hard part is the before. Once you find a home and you make an offer, the next step would be your inspection that I discussed. That's your due diligence. Basically, you figure out if there's anything wrong with the home. If there is, you pick out the biggest things. You ask the seller to fix them. 9 times out of 10, they'll fix them. Also, I forgot to mention, when you make an offer, you can ask the seller for concessions, which can be going towards your buy down, which is a huge thing right now, since interest rates are still sitting in the mid sevens, I believe. So you can ask the seller for that, or you can ask the seller if you just came up short and you literally only have your down payment and you came up short when you're saving, but you're ready to buy now, your lease is ending, then you can ask the seller for closing costs. I will say, in my next video with my mom, we'll be discussing how you can save on closing costs, but we'll get there. But for now, you can ask, and if the sellers say yes, then that's really helpful. But that's something to keep in mind when you go into the inspection. I always tell people, ask for the most important things to you, the biggest, most important things to you, because if you ask for closing costs and you're asking for a bunch of repairs, they may not do both. But absolutely ask for those repairs. If you get through the repair stage, the inspection stage, then you'll have the appraisal. Once the appraisal is ordered, if it comes in above what you offered, that's fine. You now have equity when you close on this home. If it comes in below what you offered, back to the negotiation table. Now you have to negotiate with the sellers. The home is only valued at this, but I'm offering you to pay this. We want that price. Now, generally, this hasn't happened a lot, but when it has happened, they do ask you to pull in comps. Okay, well, show me the comps. Show me what is sold. And then they take that into accountability. And then sometimes the seller just agrees and takes the price cut. Once you make it past the appraisal, which you know, generally you do, then you're on to the closing table. And once you close, you sign, you pay your down payment, you pay your closing costs, and then you get the keys. So that is the overall in-depth process. I will be covering more of escrow down the line, but I generally just wanted to talk to you about preparing to buy a home, getting ready to buy a home, and what to expect and what you should be doing leading up to the house shopping. House shopping is the most fun part, but there is a lot more to it that I think a lot of people realize. Like once they jump into this process, they're like, ooh, I should have went back a little bit. Like, I just had some clients tell me they really should have talked. They got pre-qualified and everything. We went shopping, they was about to make an offer, and then they were like, actually, we got to thinking, we forgot to talk to our leasing management company. All these things you need to take in consideration, especially if you are a first-time home buyer and you're leasing. Then you need to have your ducks in a row, coordinate how much it's going to cost to cut your lease if you're thinking about cutting your lease. If your lease is ending, then you need to start this process. This is a 3-month process because it can take a little minute. It takes a month alone for escrow. And then if so for example, their lease is ending in October, I told them I'm gonna reach out in August, because realistically you need to close before October, so towards the end of September. That's why it takes a 3 month. And you need to have already had this saved. You need to, it takes a couple of weeks to shop. It takes a few days for the offers to go through. It takes 10 days for the inspection. So it does take a while. Like I said, the whole escrow process itself takes a minimum of 30 days, sometimes 21, depends on you, depends on the lender. That's why you have preferred lenders. So with all that being said, I know this was a lot of information and I've kind of covered a lot. That's why I left out a lot. And like I said, I'll link those videos either right here in the little eye thingy or below, just so you can go to them, or both. Let me know if you are looking to buy a home here in Arizona. If you're a renter already here in Arizona and you've been wanting to buy, let me know. And I'll have my contact information in the description box, but here is my email. You can email me, and that way I can get in contact with you. So if you do email me, please email your first and last name and a phone number for me to contact you, because that's just the easier way to contact. I can text you and I can call you. Just let me know what you prefer. And I hope you guys enjoyed this informational video. I look forward to giving you more, and the vlogs will continue, so you will get to see what it's like a little bit, you know, being a realtor and being a mom and all those things. But this is more for those who are coming to this channel specifically for that information and maybe have been on the fence about buying or selling. So I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon.